Hello and welcome to Philosophy 1313, Logic and Critical Thinking. I am your professor, Dr. Richard Niels. I am a professor here at Oklahoma State University in the philosophy department. My main area of expertise is ancient Greek philosophy. However, I also teach metaphysics, epistemology, and critical thinking. I'm happy to have you in this class. This is an online class, of course, and I thought I'd begin the course by giving you Lecture 0, an introduction to the course. So in this Lecture 0, this is just an introduction to the course. I'm going to go over the syllabus, I'm going to go over the quizzes, I'll go over the tests, and then I'll end by explaining how you can do well in the class, just to give you some tips. Okay, so your syllabus is up on Canvas. You should go and take a look at that at some point. One thing you should know is that you have a quiz worth 2% based on the content in the syllabus. It's just a way to make sure that you are actually reading the syllabus and that I can expect you to know what's on there. The biggest things you should take note of are the due dates for the tests and the quizzes. So make sure that when you go take a look at the syllabus, you look at the schedule and put all of those dates in your personal calendar so you don't forget anything. As far as quizzes are concerned, you do have 6 quizzes throughout this term. Each quiz is going to be worth 8%, so that total quiz value will be 48% of your final grade. That is the lion's share of your grade, is contained within these 6 quizzes. They will be multiple choice, and they're not designed to be super difficult. They are open books, so you may use your book to take a look at the content that you've learned. Of course, you can look at your notes and your lectures as well. But keep in mind they are timed, so you want to make sure you study before you actually take the test. Now, they're not designed to be too difficult, but they certainly will test your comprehension and whether or not you've actually kept up with the reading and the lectures in this class. Now, the best way to study for these is to do the practice problems in the textbook called self-test. So you should have this textbook right here. And if you do, you'll see that in every chapter there is a self-test where you can look at problem sets. My quizzes will be based on those problem sets. They won't be directly lifted from the text, but they will be very similar. So if you're comfortable taking those self-tests, you should be comfortable taking my quizzes. Now, you have 2 major tests throughout the term. Both of them are worth 25%. You can think of the first one as a midterm, and you can think of the last one as a sort of a final exam. The first one will be at the end of Module 5 and the other at the end of Module 8. Now, these tests are non-cumulative. That means that the Module 5 test will be on the materials from Modules 1 through 4, and the Module 8 test will be on the material from Modules 5 to 8. So keep in mind these tests are just going to be based on the first half of the material, of course, for Test 1, and the second half of the course material for Test 2. And there's no final exam, so it's just the quizzes and the tests. Now, I wanted to end this introductory video by giving you some tips on how to do well. So the first thing is look at the syllabus. Memorize the syllabus. Look at it regularly. Make sure that you are familiar with what is expected of you. Most students who don't do well in online courses tend to forget dates and assignments and things that they're supposed to be doing. So the syllabus is where everything is. Treat that as the guidebook for this class. My second tip is to actually read the textbook. I showed you this already, but this is the textbook for the class. Critical Thinking, an Introduction to the Basic Skills. Treat this textbook as your Bible for the class. Like, make sure you have it all the time. You're looking at it all the time. You're reading through every bit of assigned reading. Everything that you need to know for this class is in the textbook. I will not test you on stuff that's not in the lecture slides, of course. But everything that's in the lecture slides is coming from the textbook, and my job in the lecture slides is just to help you to understand it differently, to see it from different angles, and so make sure you really, really focus on reading the textbook. And along with that, do every problem set in the textbook. Like, really treat that as a workbook for doing well. Critical thinking is the type of thing that it's a skill, right? You need to do problem sets to get good at it. It's kind of like math. You need to be comfortable doing the problem sets regularly. That's how you get good at critical thinking, and so make sure you're doing those problem sets in the textbook. Another thing with an online class is that you should check in every day. So that means, like, go onto the Canvas page, just make sure, okay, did I miss anything? go look at the syllabus regularly, probably from week to week, but just definitely log into the Canvas page every day. And I can tell when you log into the Canvas page. And so if I can tell you've been, like, not been on Canvas for like 2 weeks and you're saying, oh, I missed something. I mean, I can see whether or not you're regularly checking in. I'm not going to grade you on whether or not you're going in every day, but it's a good sort of habit to get into to make sure that you're just routinely making sure that you're caught up with the class. Don't be afraid to ask questions. On the syllabus, you'll find my email. That's the best way to get a hold of me in terms of this class. You can also notify me via the Canvas email. So don't be afraid to do that. I'm very happy to answer questions. I typically have a 24-hour email policy. So if you email me on any given day, I will get back to you within 24 hours, weekends and holidays excluded, of course. And so if you email me on a Friday, I typically won't get to you till the Monday, so just keep that in mind. But if you did email me on a Monday, I should get back to you by the same time on the Tuesday following the Monday. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Some of this material can be difficult, and it's hard to imagine that you could just get through this without, you know, any help at all if you're struggling. So make sure that you see me as someone that you can go to ask questions.